Good morning, good afternoon, good night, I guess. How's everybody doing today? And thank you all so much for coming into our Fireside Chat number 15 back on YouTube. Mike, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. Excited for Monday.
Good,
I
good,
know
good.
most
Yeah.
people don't say that, but I am. I'm one of those people that I love when Monday rolls around. So
Yeah, I mean it's the start of a week, especially when you're talking like trading and anything business related, I guess.
yeah,
It's the start of all that business related stuff. And I think we've had an exciting last week. So leading into this is really, really good. So lots of stuff to talk about, to go over, kind of what our next plans are. And thank everybody for getting us to the point that we are. I think it's taken a lot from the community and the support of everybody to bring us here, and really appreciate everybody on that. But yeah, let's go into it. What do you say?
yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Awesome. So first, let's talk about kind of what we talked about last Fireside Chat, which was getting ready and getting hyped up for our Perpetual exchange launch. Right? We talked about that. We talked about how it would be coming out on December 4th. And Mike, did we hit that December 4th timeline?
We did. We nailed it.
We nailed it. I don't have to get lynched. I'm good. So yeah, we hit the December 4th timeline, which I am beyond happy. I think the whole team is, the community, I'm sure all of you guys are. And it was a big moment for us. Now, whenever we talk dates and timelines, we always work off of kind of that, Eastern Standard Time or, Central Standard Time, potentially Pacific time as well. So like US region, I guess. Although we're all worldwide as far as the team goes, just as a friendly, like, reminder or PSA, I guess it would be that we typically go off of those time zones. So if you're ever wondering, like, why is it, December 5th and it's not here yet? It's different time zones. We're all around the world on that one. But we are super duper happy to see that the Perpetual exchange out. I'm loving it. It looks gorgeous. I'm sure many other people are, and we've seen lots of trades go on there. We've seen lots of people, posting about it and sharing about it in our social channels, which is really great. I think there's a lot more to come with it. Mike, thoughts, launch, how you feeling?
I feel great, man. It went smooth. We got liquidity added. We got it rolled out. We saw some trades right away. I know some people were really eager to try to put the first one on, and somebody did nail that. So, but yeah, it's been great. Considering where we're at and the time it took to get there, and just really excited to see it finally out.
Yeah. Now, we are continuing to develop and evolve everything there. I remember, I think, what was it, when we were getting ready to launch, I might have teased the link and people got access to it like an hour beforehand. And I was like, damn, my bad, but no, it was fun. But we're continuing to like monitor everything, and we'll go more in depth on all that fun stuff there. Now, as far as any of our fireside chats, remember, we save our questions for the end, but because there's always like a delay between the actual chat and of course, what we're talking about and saying right now, please post any questions you have. You could even start throwing them in now. And then if we need to, just copy and paste them later back in there. But we won't answer anything until that very end, though. But let's dive into our project progress, I guess we could say, and talk about what's being worked on all that good stuff. You sound good with you?
Hey, I'm ready. Let's go.
Awesome. All right. So let's dive into it here. So as far as our PDEX launch, as all of you know, it is out. It is available to use at this very moment. So make sure to go ahead and check it out at trade.switch.finance. We've gotten some feedback about the URL stuff and how to like get there a little bit easier. I know initially it didn't have like back buttons, and now it does have back buttons, little things that go along with that. But, some stuff that you could check out with that. But make sure to go ahead and give it a look around. Now, when we launched the Perpetual Exchange, okay, we definitely looked at, doing lower liquidity to start and kind of building on top of that, adjusting as needed, changing around some of the weights a little bit based off of those trades. And I think the biggest trades we're seeing right now are Bitcoin related and USDT. Those are really the two ones that are seeing a lot of trading pressure. Now, We're looking to get some more liquidity added on both of those. We're also looking to up that leverage from 30x into the 50x range with more added liquidity. So expect to see that happen soon. But that way, people can start placing larger trades. We can get more leverage on those trades, things like that. Mike, you are the trading guru here. What
I
have
don't
you?
know about that.
Pretty close, pretty dang close to it. All right. What would you say as far as liquidity wise? What have you noticed? What have you noticed trade wise? Things like that. If you want to share a little bit on what you've seen with the perp decks.
Yeah, obviously, like you said, we've seen quite a bit of the liquidity usage on BTC itself for longs, and then on the USDT asset, you're using USDT for any short, regardless of what asset it is. If you're shorting BTC or BNB or ETH, you're utilizing the liquidity from the USDT pool. So that said, some of you may have noticed that we've been using quite a bit of that USDT utilization. So we are looking to add more and rebalance some of the liquidity pools to provide enough liquidity for traders to be able to trade with those. So, I'm not super surprised, to be honest, with the amount of USDT liquidity that was being utilized. If you look across the board, we've had quite a bit of a run up across many of the assets in crypto the last week or a couple weeks actually. And long interest was extremely high with very low short interest. So that little wasn't really little. It was a pretty significant pullback last night or whenever it was for your time zone. That was kind of needed. So I'm not really super surprised by the short liquidity that we were using. But anyway, long story short, we're looking to make sure that we can have liquidity available for each asset. So when you want to throw a trade on, there's liquidity there to do that. So
awesome. Yeah. And I think we're definitely looking to, like I said, increase that Bitcoin, increase that USDT. I know a lot of people have been suggesting adding other coins onto the platform, and it's definitely something we will be doing. Right now, though, of course, there is a huge focus on getting the bigger blue chip tokens that everybody's trading onto the platform stable enough that we're not running into any type of issues with not having enough liquidity. Can start bringing more people on there and just really get everything hyped up, excited, stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of what's being worked on in regards to, the liquidity side of things. We really, really, really ask all of you to continue sharing that feedback as we, as you guys make trades, shorting or longing, just to get an idea of how everything is. So please use our Discord to go ahead and share that information, provide any suggestions or feedback in that same Discord as well. So that way we can just see, hey, where do we need to adjust some things? What do we need to add on? Stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, that feedback's really helpful. I mean, we can see things, internally, but we value everybody else's feedback and stuff. And a lot of, as many of you may noticed, we've done some new deployments of the PDEX already over the last week. And like Summit said earlier, we've included some additional links on the page to be able to go back to the swap page or the home page or to the docs or the educational material, whatever it may be. Among many other things, including being able to set your adjust the slippage. Put in a custom slippage amount that's going to work for you that you feel is best. So there's a lot of things that we continue to upgrade and improve. There's a lot that goes on behind closed doors that people don't see, pretty much 7 days a week. So,
Yeah.
it's, but it's good. It's good to get that feedback because, we want to push it out, those updates as quick as we can.
Yeah. Another thing I think we added on there was the 1 minute and 3 minute charts. I think it was.
We actually added quite a few new time frames.
Yeah. I think it was
weekly.
There's a lot. Yeah. So, and if for those of you trying to look at that, if you're looking at the website, it'll say like 5, 15 an hour, 4 hours, and there's a little drop down bar. You can actually adjust what you see from there as well. So that was another little thing added. But it just goes to show all those things, anything that you guys suggest, we really are taking it and launching it as quickly as we possibly can. So continue giving that feedback, continue sharing all of that. And yeah, we will 100% get it integrated and added into the platform. But yeah, I think one thing everybody is really wondering about is kind of like the dashboard. What does our, volume look like? Stuff like that. I'm happy to say that dashboard is getting very close. We're almost ready. We actually got some of the design rough drafts finalized, and it's being kind of pushed into prod very quickly here. And by that, I mean we should be seeing it probably this week as far as the dashboard goes. Took a little extra time as we wanted to figure out what would look best, how we would calculate. But it has like a cool idea of kind of changing around tiles based on what we need, changing around tiles based on what you want to see. I think it'll be pretty cool. Mike, I know you and I have both seen it. I think it looks sleek.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
I
it looks
agree.
nice.
It's sharp. It's the aesthetics of something are very important, I think, to a lot of people. And I think we're doing a good job with that for sure. And the data
Yeah.
that we're going to be able to be able to be seen on it is going to be nice too. Not only from a protocol standpoint, but from an individual standpoint as well.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing is, right now, while we're calculating out, volume, it's a little bit more difficult because we don't have all of those things set into play yet. However, we do have ways of checking, getting some rough estimates as far as volume on the Perpetual Exchange just in general. Now, as far as our perp decks just in general, and now this is not 100% solid information. We're kind of going based off of seeing collateral movements, fees, things like that to calculate out potential volumes on there. We're definitely seeing in the high 100,000s to millions as far as volumes, stuff like that. Dailies are always going to fluctuate a little bit. So, one day we might see, really, really high volume. One day we might see a little bit lower volume. Of course, it always depends on how the markets are moving. But because we don't have the dashboard online just yet, we don't have a solid way of saying this is the exact amount of money that volume has been generating. This is the exact amount that fees generation has happened on there. But we are, of course, very proud to say that, we are getting this type of volume without reaching outside of really our own communities. I think that's safe to say that we haven't hyped up a crazy amount, and that was purposely done to make sure that everything is working good and that we had no issues on launch prior to start marketing things. And we'll talk more about marketing in a little bit on kind of our plans and what that looks like over the next several weeks of things that we'll be doing. But I'm really proud to see that, hey, we are still seeing several hundred thousands to millions of dollars in trading volume happening on the platform, with just kind of internal community trading, I guess we could say. Mike, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that, anything that you want to talk about as far as volume related stuff or trading just in general. Go for it.
I mean, I agree with you that, while we can't get an exact number on volume and fees and whatnot, we can take a look at the collateral being, that's been put onto trades, and then, do some vague math from there. And utilizing that, we can say that, we're in, like you said, the upper hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars in volume range so far in a week of a product that was, as some have said, it was more of a soft launch, which again was intentional to ensure that we got it out there and everything's working fine. We started with low liquidity. That's another thing. We're generating decent volume with low liquidity as well. To be able to place larger trades and keep the utilization low on liquidity for borrow fees and stuff like that for traders. We need that extra liquidity, and given the amount that we've had on there, I'm impressed with the amount of collateral and rough volume numbers that we've been able to pull together so far. So, and now that we got all that, I know we'll go more into it, but really looking forward to the next steps with the Perpetual Exchange and how we're going to showcase it to everybody.
Yeah, some really exciting stuff there. But yeah, Perpetual Exchange, still very much everything is in motion. Now, as far as like fee generation, we'll have more numbers on that once we do kind of the first pull, I guess we could say. The other thing as well is once we get that dashboard online, you guys will be able to view all of this in real time. So you'll be able to see how much volume is coming through, what the fee generations look like, potential APRs, all that good stuff, which I think is really, really great. So just bear with us a little bit more. I know it's hard to ask, but I promise you it'll be worth it. And we'll get all of that out. Okay, so that way you can see in real time, hey, this is where we're at. You don't have to wait for a fireside chat. You can just take a look at the dashboard and see everything operational on there. So
Yeah,
yeah.
just to add one more thing, you know, when it comes to the launch, I know some people were wondering why we didn't heavily market ahead of time. You know, and a product launch is, you know, such as a perpetual exchange, is a little bit different than, you know, a token launch. And I know you've talked about it a little bit some in chat and whatnot, but you know, when you're launching a token and you're trying to bring in additional investors for liquidity and you know, liquidity on the token itself, and you know, the hype around that, it's a little bit different when you've already got we've got an established project with an ecosystem, and we're putting a new product into that. That, you know, it getting it out there and showcasing it is not something that typically, I would say, happens before releasing it, right? And that's part of the reason that we've done it the way we have. So now that we've done that, and again, we'll get more into it, but we can start showing the rest of the world it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree at all. Yeah, it's you know, as we look at the differences, like you said, between a token and a perpetual exchange, this is a utility thing, you know, and we have to make sure that it's all looking good first. And now we can really start hammering hard on the marketing side, which I am exhausted because I've been having a lot of conversations. But we'll talk more about that soon. Let's kind of talk about, I guess, other more project related things and see what we got in the works. And the next type of stuff here we're looking at is NFT related things. You know, I think we've talked about this a lot, but we're really starting to chug along and get those next steps going with it. We are working with potentially some external partners as far as like NFT marketplace and NFT studio designers to see how we can create some unique designs and also potentially have an NFT marketplace within our own platform, or partnering with an existing NFT marketplace and seeing how we can benefit and help each other, because that's what this space is about, is growing together and creating utility together, you know. So we have that in the motion right now. I've talked plenty of times before as far as NFTs go and the utility base on them and how that will work. And so as soon as we have more information on that, of course, it will come out to all of you. But it is something in motion at the moment. We are looking again, like I said, to have like a full-on marketplace potentially, which I think would be really exciting and cool to have a NFT marketplace, a perpetual exchange, a DEX. Oh my gosh, you just keep layering it on there. So many different little things that you could use, which would be really, really cool. Another thing that we are looking at right now is just working together a little bit with another project, and it's not necessarily them doing something for us, but getting maybe Switch added within their own ecosystem. And it's the amazing crew at Bitfighters are looking to get Switch added into their game a little bit here to see how they can help benefit us and we benefit them. So that's something that's in the works at the moment too. And once we're able to get everything in there and combine efforts, of course, that information will be shared out to all of you so you can check it out. But that's just a little side thing that's going on as well, a little collaboration between two projects, again, to make the whole crypto space a better place and a more a deeper ecosystem place around from everybody there. But yeah, so yeah, pretty cool stuff. Very happy to see all that type of stuff. I think we can kind of dive more into the marketing side of things, if that's cool with you, Mike, unless there's anything progress wise that you want to talk about.
No, I think we covered that a good bit. You know, I see some questions about volume and fees and stuff, but I think we pretty much covered that. You know, in general. So I think we can roll into the marketing side, which I know awesome, a lot of people have been asking about. So.
yes, and yeah, and as far as any questions, keep them rolling, but we'll probably come towards them to the very end on that, just so we can make sure we stay on topic with our list of things to discuss, and then get to the end on that there. But yeah, let's talk marketing. So marketing wise has really been on everybody's kind of discussion thoughts here, right? You know, everybody's wondering, because we had that soft launch, we want to know where we're going next, what are the plans, things like that. So right now we are currently working with a few people who are, I guess you could say, writers, in order to get some amazing content out as far as articles go and sharing out those articles. And so we're using a platform called Chainwire, which would allow us to reach a very, very vast amount of listings and news outlets, including like Yahoo Finance, CoinMarketCap. I think Bazinga is in there. Benzinga is another one on there. A bunch of them, bunch of different places, just to get some more traction and attention towards everything Switch related, which I think is really, really good. So as far as marketing wise, that is something that we are working on a ton. Okay. Another thing that we are actually working on, and this one is something that's been a lot of back and forth and a lot of work that's going on here, is actually working with CoinMarketCap. Okay. And so as far as CoinMarketCap, we finally have gotten some back and forth a little bit to the point where they may be accepting a proxy contract and maybe getting us listed. Still working with them a little bit more, but the fantastic news behind that is we could get listed on CMC much quicker, not have to do a migration, and that can definitely bring a lot more attention to the project, allow us to share things out more. That's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of discussions. Getting to the right people, of course, to see what potentials can happen with that. So we're really excited to be able to take those next steps and see how we can get that going there. Another thing as well is thanks to Ninja Promo and some, connections that they've had, we actually have some contacts with very larger, I guess we could say, influencer channels. And I'm talking, influencer channels in the 250 to 500 to million plus subscriber range. Okay. So that is really great. Now, the reason I never like to say who those influencers are is because until they are 100% on board, until we can get that agreement between either their agent or their business entity and ourselves, and of course, they like our project and see it as a good fit for them 100%. I don't like giving out their names. And it comes down to I don't want anybody harassing them, which could, of course, skew their decision in the left or right way. I also don't just want to say that it's going to happen, especially if something doesn't happen out of it. But if you've been around the crypto space, you know that there are some influencers out there who are more prominent than others. And some of those influencers we have on a list and have some contacts with to move forward with anything, and especially any of these larger influencers. It's more like a business deal, right? So with that, it takes time. We have to confirm some things. They're not cheap, but they definitely can help generate a lot of marketing potential, which I really think is what we need in this time. So, with those combined, looking at 75 plus different articles, CMC potential listing, the potential for millions of new investors through multiple different influencers is a huge thing that we're looking to do on a marketing push between now and the next couple weeks. I say next couple weeks because, again, like I said, it takes time for some of these deals, takes time for some of them to post videos. And also, if we do get every single person, every single thing at the same time, I don't want all of that launching on the same exact day. I don't think you would want all of that coming out on the same exact day too, Mike. We want it spaced out a little bit, You don't want it just like all on a Monday. You would like, let's a video on Monday and then 3 articles on Tuesday and then 4 on Friday. It's phenomenal on things like that as compared to we had 16 videos on Monday and 75 articles on Monday and nothing for the next 2 weeks. Like, oh, wait, what? So want to get it spaced out a little bit. But it's definitely something that is in the works. Again, I only ask that, please be patient. Please understand my side of things and the whole, team side of things. And the reasons why we don't share those influencers is purely because we don't want anything to get skewed. And we don't want to announce anything unless it is 100% certain. Okay. And it's just because I don't want anybody getting hopes up for something where, maybe an influencer is like, it doesn't work for me or doesn't work for us. Maybe, the content that they want to come out with is just not what we're looking for. So, yeah. So things like that are in the motion. Other things as well as we're looking to get some AMA talks, potentially do some Binance live chats as well. So those would be really, really cool. Approach a different audience. We talked a little bit about a trader list email that we're looking to move forward with as well. And then one of the biggest things that we are going to be doing going forward here, and you'll probably be seeing it in some of these articles that get posted, is a trading competition. Mike, we've been talking about this forever as far as
We
trading
have.
competition. Now, I think it's safe to say that there are still some finalizations that need to happen with this, logistics of how it would, work, that are still in flux a little bit. But do you want to talk a little bit? Do you want me to give you the mic on this one, Mike on the mic, for the trading competition?
Yeah, yeah, sure. That sounds great. It's there's a lot of different ways you can kind of approach some sort of incentives and competitions and stuff. And I think again, give a shout out to one of our community members and investors, Sean Call, for kind of discussing this idea with us a while back. But we kind of wanted to do something where we can not only reward people or incentivize them, but make it kind of fair across the board for all traders, right? We don't want to necessarily reward just the largest traders and the people who can only throw down so much money and whatnot. We want to reward all traders for trading on the Perpetual exchange. So we've kind of put together a volume-based incentive where once you trade for every certain amount of volume that you trade, you're going to be rewarded back in some USDT for trading that volume. And that's ongoing, right? It's not something where once you hit the volume, you get your USTD and you're done, your USDT and you're done. But you're able to continue trading, and for every time you hit that volume threshold, you're rewarded again over and over, and that's across the board for all traders. So we feel that's going to be a great way to incentivize people to not only use it, but also get something back for doing that as well.
Yeah. And I think we did some calculations out, as far as how much those rewards can be. And, we could be looking at anywhere between, $25 and $50 in USDT per trader, I guess, once we hit those thresholds.
Yeah, for each time they hit it too, right? It's you hit this volume, you get the reward. You hit the volume again, you get the reward, so on and so forth. So, not to interrupt you, but yeah, I mean,
No,
it's going
you're
to be
good.
something. It's going to be something where not only are we still able to bring in fees and revenue, from it, but the math works out that we can still generate the fees and the revenue, but also pay out some rewards to the traders for it. So,
Yeah. And that's awesome. That it's a nice way of bringing people over. I also think that, when we're talking about fee generation and things like that, it's a nice way to compete with a lot of other perpetual exchanges out there, right? Some of them will be like, hey, you might have this fee, or you might get a discount on this. But if you're going to be earning USDT by just trading, right? Okay, that's might negate that fee. that might be better in some cases. So it's very, very exciting for us, and we're happy to start really sharing that out, once we get these articles flowing. Really, there's been a lot of work, a lot of time going in on the marketing side of things. And I know it doesn't seem like it, but I promise you it's there. And these are just kind of a few of the things that are happening behind the scenes. But I think this trading competition is not going to be just huge for existing traders. I think for people who are new, who just want to see, what that type of trade looks like, being able to just get some little rewards here and there. And then we also might have, I know, Mike, you talked about not rewarding the biggest trader, but we might be rewarding the biggest trader too, right? We might have another competition on top of that where whoever has the biggest trade in XYZ time gets a nice big prize out of it. So that's
wait a second. So we can reward everybody, but also have something else that rewards the top guys too?
Oh my gosh. It's a little win-win. Win-win-win,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So that'll all be shared once everything's ready. Now, the biggest things with any of these trading competitions is, of course, the logistics on all of it, is making sure that, we get the right payouts to everybody, how those payouts work, and how we manage all of that. So another thing that, of course, is happening is the creation of a leaderboard system, along with that dashboard. So we'll not only see, a dashboard, but a leaderboard too. And I think that's going to be another really exciting element for the the Switch Perpetual exchange here and Switch ecosystem as a whole. We're just really trying to layer in and give as many different little incentives as we possibly can on all of that. So yeah, I think that's all I have for now on marketing. And I hope that was okay.
And I want to give you a shout out at Summit for the time and the work that you've been putting into this. I know, from an outsider, an investor, just an investor point of view, it's hard to see sometimes the work that goes into things, without, even when you're told what's going on, you really don't see all the time and dedication and that's put into it. But I can tell you from our internal communication that we have on different, channels and different platforms behind the scenes, Summit has talked about he doesn't know when I sleep. I don't know when he sleeps, because I've seen Summit posting messages and responding to stuff and whatnot at 1 a.m., 3 in the morning my time, which is close to his time. But so a lot has gone into it. A lot of time. Just really like I said, want to give you a shout out for all the hard work that you've put into it for everybody here. So
I appreciate you, man. Yeah, it's all the adrenaline that I shoot directly into my heart every morning. Definitely not safe, but I'm going for it, No, but I think I want to give some recognition right back out to you, man. I think a lot of people look to you for so many different things, right? For support, for trading, for so many different things here. And I think everybody in this community can agree that when there is a question, you are there to answer it. When they need help, you are there. And that is just huge. You are phenomenal. You're a phenomenal resource. You are an education guru, a trading guru. You are amazing. And I don't think anybody disagrees with that. I am proud to see you on this team and have you on this team, and we'll continue working. And I know we are just, handshaking each other right now in front of the community. But if you see Mike in the chat, please make sure to show him some love, because he does so much for this project and for this community that it is well deserved that he gets some love back on that.
Well, certainly appreciate that, and appreciate everybody, everybody here, and that's in chat, that's not in chat, that as we always talk about, we appreciate everybody that's here to support us, and all the fruits of the labor should hopefully be seen as we progress. So
yeah. But then I guess that goes on to everybody here too, right? Thank you all so much for the love, the patience, the support, the trust as we continue to build everything out. I know it takes a lot of patience, right? First off, to really hold in here and, support everything on this. But we really, really do appreciate all of you so much for the support, for the love on everything, for sticking with us through the bear markets and the bull, because it's really, really impactful to see that. So thank you all so much. But without further ado, let us jump into the question side of things. Okay, let's talk about everything related to what you guys are asking. And I think a lot of it's still related to volume. I think a lot of questions are still related to volume. And I guess I'm going to quickly summarize what we said earlier. And then Mike, if you want to add any specifics to things, be my guest. But okay, let's dive into it here. So for starters, okay, we don't have any type of dashboard related system at the moment to see exactly what the PDEX volume is. Now we have rough estimates, but we don't have the exact number because we don't have those dashboard elements online yet. Our internal tools can see a little bit more. We can see a little bit of what's going on, but it's just not to the dot of every single thing. So what does that mean? It means that we are seeing, hey, several hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars being, in volume over the past week, right? So it's, it's big for what we are currently at. It's not huge. There's a lot of potential, a lot of room for growth for what we're looking at here. However, a few caveats to what I'm saying here, and that is that, we don't have a humongous liquidity pool because we are, looking to see where that PDEX volume is going to land at, right? And we want to know what coins are going to be the most impactful for trading, which of course we've now learned is Bitcoin and of course USDT, just for shorting and things like that. The other, okay, is that, we want to see like more marketing efforts happen, get outside traders brought over here to get more volume generated that way. Okay, so that's another element on why we're not looking at the humongous levels of volume yet. Okay, but all right, those are just some of the little reasons on that there. Now APR, based off of what we're seeing in that range, I don't think we're looking at a crazy high amount APR right now, Mike. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not into the 10% range. We're probably in the couple percent range, maybe 2 to 3 at max, I would say at the moment. It just takes time for us to go ahead, and we got to generate some more volume. We got to get some more revenue inside there before we can really, get, I guess, what was it? Higher APRs, and that's still very much expected. But we just don't have any APR numbers yet. That's because we don't have 100% set volume of what is going on yet. Mike, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, we can just kind of look at the collateral that's being used and the liquidity that's been used so far, and given the total liquidity that we have, and just looking at the collateral and some averages and leverage and stuff, the good thing is that based on the liquidity that we have, we're almost cycling through that liquidity daily, right? So, or at least every couple days. So that tells us that people are using the Perpetual exchange, up to pretty much the liquidity that we can have available at the time or currently. So with that said, and like we talked about earlier, we're talking about pretty much maybe we had a couple AMAs prior to the launch. So aside from that, though, we're really, only, excuse me, we're really only utilizing, the people that are within the community right now that are using it. So given that aspect, and given that we've cycled the liquidity every couple of days, and we plan to add more, and we talked about the different marketing that we're going to have with, potentially extremely large influencers, and the the articles going out everywhere, and the contests, and the incentives and stuff. I think we're in a great position, and I'm really personally, I'm happy with what we've done over the last week, and I'm not surprised at if at the volume numbers that we've put in place, given where we're at with the liquidity. So I think, in my opinion, based on my experience with perpetual exchanges, and my knowledge around all this stuff, and the amount of people that have been using it, I think that we've done pretty well over the last week, and we're only going to be able to grow from there once we spread the word even more. So.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back to, just to be safe here, and kind of redact a little bit on what I said as far as APR, purely because I just don't have the solid numbers yet to really give that. And as soon as we do, we can gladly share that, I think, in an announcement, or share that out to the community as a whole. So until we have that, it's really hard to say exactly what that APR is yet. It's really hard to say exactly what the volumes are. But that's kind of the rough ballpark range as far as volume. APR, again, we're still waiting to see, depending on the volume, what that would look like. And of course, it depends on some other factors as well, like, what are we looking in terms of the distribution of everything, distribution of funds. Now, another thing that I know was brought up, and I know it's not a question that was asked, but we are looking at weighting the fees a little bit differently. So to give more into all of your hands, the investor hands, rather than different areas. So we could potentially see a larger increase as far as the fees to investors, which I think would be phenomenal and helps out those APRs grow. But it's really just kind of like this testing phase to see what is the right weight, what's that nice, sweet little middle spot. And that's the thing with PDEXs, is these things can always adjust a little bit. They can always flux around just a little bit to see where do we need to move the funds to keep everything running, reduce the fees to see more volume, or increase the fees because we see reduce, whatever it may be. Things can fluctuate just a little bit in order to, sustain the ecosystem and provide the best revenue for any investor on the platform. But let's see here. Trying to see if there's any other questions. I think a lot of it was really related to volume and liquidity. Somebody asked you a question, Mike.
Let's see here. For the ones away,
He said,
"Oh yeah, for the ones away, can we give a quick view on my experience with the PDEXs specifically?" Yeah, sure. I mean, just a quick background on me. I was part-time trader when I was working in the corporate world for years. Not years, I'm not that old. But when I was working corporate world, and was fortunate enough to be able to depart that and move to full-time trading. So I still trade traditional finance, but I traded traditional finance for quite some time, and then close to a couple years ago at this point, started trading on some perpetual exchanges, but also became an investor in perpetual exchanges. So from an investment standpoint, I've seen that side of it. I've reaped the benefits of that side, but I've also reaped the benefits from the trading side, and sometimes lost on the trading side, because that's part of it, right? But that said, yeah, I've got a little bit of experience in perpetual exchanges as far as how they work, the ins and outs of them and whatnot. So when I found out, when I was on the Unico team, and they brought me over, or when I was still on Unico and found out that Switch was going to be doing a perpetual exchange and they brought me over, I was super happy to be a part of that and help, not actually develop it, but work with the team on its development and testing and all that. So that's I guess that's pretty much my background with trading and PDEXs. But yeah.
Awesome. And we're happy to have you here.
Yeah, appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Let's see.
A couple more on just volume and APRs and stuff. Again, APRs, we can't, we don't know APRs because we don't have the dashboard to pull the data out of the chain. We can take a guess on the entry and exit fees and stuff like that, but we're missing liquidity fees, we're missing borrow fees and stuff like that. So until we pull that, it's really hard to even give a rough estimate. I know someone mentioned 2 to 3, but volume wise we can guess, but we really don't know until that dashboard's online, which again hopefully should be, I know everybody hates the word soon, but soon meaning maybe this week. We'll see. Yeah, a lot of progress has been made on that.
Yeah, and I think as far as like collateral liquidity, we've been cycling through that liquidity pretty hard. So
yeah, I think we started with roughly around total liquidity around 250,000 or so. We've actually added to that liquidity. Part of it's from trading fees, part of it's from asset appreciation in the markets and whatnot. But we can see that liquidity move, and just given the collateral that's been used and stuff like that, we can tell that liquidity is being used and reused.
Yeah. And then finally, I think MJD is asking about tokens. We are still within phase 1, so that means there's still that ATB limitation. I'm not going to dive too deep into that, but if you head to our Discord, we can definitely tell you more on all of that stuff there. So yeah, that is still in effect. Phase 2 will be coming out within, we're looking at 30, 60 days, if not sooner. So it just depends on how everything happens in the next couple, or I should say week or 2 weeks. We'll be able to continuously give some more info. Once we have that dashboard out, it'll really, really help. It'll really help us judge everything and help you guys judge everything, which I think will be huge.
Yeah, and just to add again, I want to emphasize that we went live December 4th. It was pretty quiet. There's no denying that. We had a couple AMAs. We had stuff within the community and Fireside chats. We really have not spread the word about this PDEX, and given everything we just talked about with marketing that's coming up, we really we should not expect a ton over this past week. Especially again, given the low liquidity that we have. Once we start bumping that liquidity up, we can start seeing larger trades put on. Summit mentioned increasing the leverage. That would also help and stuff like that too. So, given what we've had in place for the last week, and given what we have not done yet, expectation wise, we shouldn't set them too high, but we should also, personally, I'm impressed with what we've done, so far, just from the reach that we've had.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all the questions I see. I think we can end our Fireside chat here then. I think it's one of the first times we're actually doing a quicker chat. Usually they go over a little bit longer, but yeah. So awesome. All right. Well, guys, thank you all so much for popping in here. taking the time out of your day, ask some questions, get some updates. Really, the big takeaway here, I guess, is mostly the marketing related stuff and just kind of the updates as far as what we're looking at for the PDEX and liquidity and things like that. So expect to see all of that coming out very, very soon. A lot of time and effort is going into that marketing side. Continue to share all those suggestions, the feedback, so we can push out those updates as quickly as we can. And thank you all again so much for the love, trust, and support and everything that we're building here. So yeah, without any more questions, we'll leave it off here. So enjoy the rest of your day. We will see you all in the next Fireside chat, and that'll be posted in our events and announced as well. And then we'll get a recap out for this too. So thank you all so much, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.